The Philadelphia Flyers have fired John Tortorella. The longtime veteran coach is no longer behind the bench for the Flyers. But where do the Flyers go next? That's what we're going to touch quickly on in this video. Before we get through some names that could possibly be in charge of the likes of Matvei Michkov and Travis Konecny and these exciting talent, I just want to tell you to subscribe. Just hit that little button down below. It really helps us out, helps support independent Flyers coverage. It's just us doing it. So please just hit that button, subscribe, maybe even a like if you're feeling it, and subscribe for John Tortorella getting fired. If you're happy about it, you should probably subscribe to Broad Street Hockey because we're going to have a lot more about it. Obviously, to set the stage, Brad Shaw is going to be taking over as interim Flyers coach for the remainder of the season. There's just 8 games left, so we'll see where that goes. Come up here with 5 kind of semi-realistic options that the Flyers could potentially have behind the bench to start the 2025-2026 season. And first off, we just have to mention it's the guy that's already going to be behind the bench, Brad Shaw. He obviously has done an excellent job as Flyers associate coach, has helped the defense, has turned Rasmus Ristolainen into a very good top 4 defenseman, has helped plenty of other defensemen just look normal and really help this team rise above their talent level. So whether or not he wants to take over the head position role, whether or not he wants to take on the full-time responsibility of being the Flyers head coach, it's one thing, but could really see just the Flyers rewarding Brad Shaw for doing such an excellent job. Just let's see how it goes, and they'll probably have a conversation with him. Pierre LeBrun reported earlier today on TSN that he is going to be one of the names that are kind of in the hat for the Flyers head coaching role in the future. So it's definitely a name to figure out, and it's just dependent on if he wants that more responsibility. Hopefully, no matter who comes in, Brad Shaw stays behind the bench because he's such a useful coach and has helped the Flyers tremendously, but we'll just see where that goes. The next was an interesting one. Obviously, it's a connection with the Flyers a little bit, but Jay Woodcroft was famously brought in for training camp to just hang out and made people's eyes widen a little bit during training camp this past year, but he already has some connection, some familiarity with the team, some established kind of, he was on the same ice as them at least. Obviously, he's been unemployed since the Oilers fired him and brought in Chris Knobloch, but with the Oilers through the primary parts of 3 seasons, he had an overall record of 79, 41, and 13. I guess that's 2 and 13 games, but it was really the 3-9-1 start in the 2023-2024 season that derailed him, and obviously then Connor McDavid kind of forced the Oilers' hand, brought in his old junior coach, but that's another story. Woodcroft won the Calder Cup with the Oilers farm team before getting brought up as the Oilers head coach. So there's already an establishment of winning there. He knows how to deal with talent. He knows how to play with stars. He knows how to coach with stars on his team, rather. And there's just a level of offensive capabilities that I feel like he could bring to this Flyers team. And obviously it's non-existent right now. And when you're talking about the Flyers, you got to be talking about former Flyers. And that is the instant connection you always have to make, whether it's Rod Brindamore. He's not, I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying the name of this video. Hurricanes fans, don't worry. But if you're talking about former Flyers, Craig Berube, whatever, he's in Toronto. And then former Flyer Rick Tocchet, obviously in Vancouver. He is the only coach that doesn't have a contract, that isn't under contract next season. But there is an option for the Canucks to extend him, and they're apparently in talks. And Patrick Allvin, the GM of the Canucks, has already come out and said we would like to keep Tocchet around. So it's if both parties are interested, obviously. But if Tocchet's kind of eyeing Philadelphia a little bit more than his situation in Vancouver, maybe that's a possibility. But in my mind, it would be a step back or a step to the side for the Flyers. We're bringing in a guy that is just as hard-nosed, as stern as Tortorella, and around the same age as Tortorella. I think he's like 7 or 8 years younger. Then you're bringing in a guy that potentially could have all the negatives of Tortorella without any of the distinct positives that we've come to know since he's joined the Flyers. One kind of under the radar name not a lot of people are talking about. Obviously, you have to look at the most established AHL franchises, the coaches that are just banging on the door for another opportunity in NHL, and that is Todd Nelson. He's been coaching the Hershey Bears for the last 3 years after being an assistant coach with Dallas for the last 4 previous. And then he was obviously the head coach for the Grand Rapids Griffins. There's a stat even in that Grand Rapids team was pretty good, but he's been a head coach more than he's been an assistant. He's run teams just as well and has established a winning capability in the AHL. Again, as an NHL head coach, it hasn't gone swimmingly. He just had a little brief stint as the Oilers head coach when he was replacing Dallas Eakins mid-season. But there's a certain level of like interest and intrigue that the Flyers probably could interview him, bring him in, and see how well he fits. Because he could, if he's working with young players in the AHL, then there's potential of him working well with young players in Philly. Now, the last name is the name that everyone wants to talk about. It's David Carle. If you just go down his resume, back-to-back World Junior Championships with Team USA, National Championship with Denver just last season. His last 18 months has been an incredible amount of success and winning that his teams have had. And quite obviously, he coaches young players very well, so there's a reason of intrigue there. But when it comes to David Carle, everything that we're seeing, everything that's being reported is he has a very comfy situation in Denver. He has a young family. There's no reason to move him. There's no reason, if it's a team that comes calling and it's not going to be a long-term thing, then he's not going to go. Reporters have said that unless the situation comes up that it will be long-term, say offer a 7-8 year coaching contract, which is frankly not very common to say the least, then he's not going to go. He's only 35, to say only 35, super young. So there's no reason for him to uproot his family from Denver, from a situation where he could just coach the rest of his life there and make a tons of money as college hockey grows and grows and grows. And there's no reason for him to leave, unless the NHL comes calling and there's a perfect opportunity where he can plant roots and develop players and be the coach that he thinks he can be and want to take that next step, then maybe he could potentially move. And the big question is that in Philadelphia? Now, Briere and Jones obviously have a long-term plan going, 4, 5, 6 years down the road. They're hoping for some level of contention. From this point, they're trying to get better every season. They want to add players, add talent. They're not going to be taking seasons at all. So does someone like Carle see that as an opportunity to grow with a team and establish himself long term as the coach that can bring this group of young players from just prospects and first time NHL debutants and first time all-stars and grow and grow and grow? And is that in Philadelphia? It's kind of a pipe dream of every NHL fan base basically wants Carle, no matter what your coach is like. So they're going to be fighting with a lot of teams, Chicago, etc. So it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes, or even if Carle makes the jump to the NHL next season. There it is, 5 head coaches that could potentially be behind the Flyers bench, but you just know the Flyers are going to do some either unheard of thing, sign some other college coach, or bring back Peter Laviolette for some reason. That's it from us at Broad Street Hockey. Hit subscribe down below, hit the like button, all that good stuff. It really helps us out. No big media company behind us. It's just everyone that you see on the camera or read on our website. So just click the subscribe. It really helps us out as we make our way to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the season. BSH forever.